Hello and welcome to the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, also streamed on expertcresecrets.com, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. And also most commercial real estate brokers, luxury agents, business brokers, they also struggle with clarifying their brokerage options and ways to grow their wealth, cash flow. And I'm excited to be back again with my co-host and business partner, Matthew Stewart. We're going to talk all things eXp commercial made simple, eXp made simple, the model, and a couple recent folks who joined eXp. Please welcome with me, Matt Stewart. Matt, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. Yeah, it's a gorgeous day out here in sunny California. I'm going to be heading out, hopping on a plane and heading out to Puerto Rico to spend some time out there with some of the other leaders. So that'll be fun. We got a mastermind and so on.
That's fantastic. You know, Puerto Rico, we love Puerto Rico because it's one of the most tax-friendly environments in the U.S., sphere.
Absolutely.
Which is part of why a lot of EXP people have moved there, and they're doing that. And we're doing some crypto deals, and some people are like, "Can I move to Puerto Rico?" I'm like, "Yeah, you can. That's a good
Yeah.
solution if you want to establish residency there and get that going. Or you can just do a DST and live whatever you want." So we like to say like defer the tax without moving to Puerto Rico. But that's
There you
cool.
go.
Have you been to Puerto Rico before?
I did. We were on our honeymoon, actually. It was a cruise, so it just stopped and we tooled around for about 4 or 5 hours and hopped on. So we haven't really seen the island. You get to see San Juan and diddy bop around the old town there and see I can't remember the name of the big fort, but it's pretty impressive. And then that's it. So we're excited. We're going to be out there probably 10, 11, 12 days and really get a chance to explore Puerto Rico and visit a bunch of friends that are out there. I think we have, as you mentioned, over 30 families and EXPers that live there now, quote unquote, full time.
Yeah,
So
well, make sure they track you with those cell phones, man. They're tracking us all. They're watching us. They're watching us right now. So, well,
yeah,
cool. We'll
yeah.
dive into the topic today, which is EXP commercial made simple and/or EXP made simple, where we're just talking about why we made the switch, why you might be considering making the switch, why those are making the switch to what we call the Netflix way of brokerage versus the old
I like
Blockbuster
it.
model. You know,
Yeah.
and so I want to start with this. There's big brokerages, right? And most people have heard of EXP at this point, especially in the residential world, right? I mean, that's kind of foregone conclusion at this point for most folks in the residential world. But some of these bigger brokerages and are looking at a larger transition, perhaps haven't thought of it like that versus the individual agent as much. So I know you've had some success with that. So what could you say to the bigger brokerages that are considering, and maybe what's like maybe a deal story you could share with us there?
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, thanks, Brett. So it's interesting. More and more brokerages are coming over to EXP. More and more brokerages are seriously looking at it and diving deeper and understanding the model. Whereas before they said, "Hey, I got my own thing. I got my own brokerage. Why am I going to join and merge with another brokerage?" So, but that's changing, and we're starting to see some good size offices and successful brokerages come over. There's one in Texas, Abbey Realty. I think they had about 400 or so agents. I mean, that is a very successful office, and so for them to come over, very large independent brokerage, obviously they saw some things there. Now, I do have a pretty good amount of experience on bringing over brokerages now to EXP, and it's a little different animal than bringing over an individual agent. It's definitely a different animal than bringing over a team. Although some of these teams out there are quite large. I know my partners had brought over the number one Keller Williams team out of Utah, and that was about 55 agents. So that's like a little brokerage, right?
Mhm. Oh yeah, it's
But
good.
what's interesting, the difference that I've found in these large teams versus a brokerage is the teams don't necessarily have all the overhead of the brick and mortar. They're usually within an office that's not necessarily their own. And so you have a broker owner that has the overhead there. And then the broker owner also has the legal liability, whereas the team leader and so on doesn't because they're underneath a brokerage. So those are kind of some of the hot buttons for a broker owner typically when they're looking at EXP is I can shed my a portion, if not all, of my overhead. And then also I can get rid of my legal liability completely. I can sleep better at night. I don't have to worry about, 100 agents out there doing who knows what, trying to put deals together and so forth. And so when they see that they can bring their office over and empower their agents, I'd say that's the third thing that really motivates them, because most of these broker owners, they really care about their agents. They really do. I mean, that's how they were able to build it and grow large, is they care about their people and they really want their agents to succeed. So when they see EXP, that every agent is an owner in the company, and every agent has an opportunity to attract or recruit. I don't think that's a bad word. It's kind of our industry. I was recruited from Coldwell Banker to Keller Williams, and I was recruited to EXP, and now I recruit, agents to EXP. I think it's a good thing as long as you have the mindset of taking care of people. So anyway, so they look at this and they go, wow, agents have an opportunity to be rewarded for attracting other agents. And they get a residual, whereas a broker owner typically is the only one that gets the residual because they're overriding all their agents, right? Well, now you're empowering every agent that's in your office when they move over to EXP. They're basically like a broker owner at EXP, but they don't have legal liability or overhead and capital risk.
So great, right? And that's the model itself, which is the rich dad, poor dad strategy, right? As a commercial real estate broker myself since 2006 at Marcus Millichap, and then I
Yeah.
left them 5 years after, joined kind of a boutique firm. And that firm was great, but I had no ownership in that firm, right? And I was
Yeah.
closing deals and paying commissions, but I had no stock or revenue share. And I was, attracting or recruiting or trying to bring people on there as well, and did that for Marcus Millichap as well. And at all the time, I was like the W-2 1099 employee. I was on the left side of the quadrant,
Yeah.
and EXP has unlocked the right side of the quadrant. And I love the way you put that. You can be the broker owner without the liability or the overhead, and you can keep doing the deals you've always done, get stock
Mm-hmm.
ownership, get revenue share, get cash flow, right? Make your brokerage an asset, not a liability or a W-2 job or a 1099, but make it an asset where you can start to grow and build. And that's the key. Yeah, you're right. Leading with value. If you're doing that and you're helping other people grow their business, helping other people get what they want, you get everything you want. So let's
Yeah.
transition into that commercial part of it now, right?
Well,
Residential.
real quick though, because there's actually one nugget that's kind of the secret sauce in this whole thing, and why these broker owners, I think, finally make the move over. Despite everything all the benefits I've told you, there's another little nugget, and that is the aspect of scalability. With the traditional real estate model, they have their brick and mortar storefront, right? And they're in, Seattle, Sacramento, Phoenix, Miami. Agents are only going to drive so far to come to their brick and mortar shop, right? Gosh, good. Who knows? Maybe an hour, probably not, right? So they're limited geographically. They cannot scale on a national level. If they do scale on a national level, then that brings in the dramatic overhead and capital risk and so on. But with EXP, because we're one singular brokerage that is encompasses all 50 states, they literally, there's those boundaries, those geographic boundaries completely fall to the wayside and go away. So now as a broker owner that's in Cocoa Beach, Florida, all of a sudden he can start expanding, recruiting, attracting agents in California. He could target market San Diego, San Francisco, Seattle, some of these big high dollar marketplaces, and rev share, and have agents that are going to cap and so on, and go 7 layers deep on the revenue share and so on. So they look at this and they go, wow, I've worked 10 years to get my office to 73 agents, and I literally could move over to EXP, and within 2 years, 3 years, I could triple, quadruple, or more. And then the other aspect is, when you're spread out over the nation like that, you kind of spread out your I guess I'd say risk in regards to market conditions ebbing and flowing. So Miami may just take a dive for some odd reason. Maybe it's weather related or something, but San Diego on the other coast is just booming. So if you have agents from coast to coast, it's going to kind of level out your your dips and your increases and so on, and make your income more consistent. And it's, as we've talked about, reoccurring and residual in nature.
Absolutely. And I think it can't be overstated, the ability to scale beyond just your local market, right? And
It's
part of what we're doing
huge.
now is we're live on YouTube and we're podcasts, and
Hmm.
I serve clients in all 50 states with capital gains tax solutions, and now building the team with eXp
Yeah.
Commercial, DC, California, Texas, working on different areas where all of a sudden you're aligned financially and strategically, and then also with a company that is pouring into us as leaders with technology, with tools, with systems. Their
Yeah.
focus is to build us and give us as much tools as agents so that we can serve our clients even better. And being that it's broker owned, guess who has the say in a lot of this? It's us. They're going to come to
Right.
us because we are the shareholders. And so all of these things coincide and work together. And it's the brilliance of what eXp has created. And it makes me think about an entrepreneurial real estate professional. Right? Why are you in real estate, right? In commercial real
Mhm.
estate, part of it was to get on the other side of the phone to be able to get passive income or active income through owning real estate. Part of it was obviously to close and help deals and get big commission checks. But if you can scale that on all three levels, accessing deals, opportunities, referrals, as well as
Yeah.
build an organization that gets cash flow, it it's you might as well, right? Like, so what's the biggest objection you're hearing perhaps from some of these bigger broker owners or brokers in general? Like, what are they waiting for, and what's holding them back, Matt?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the reality is, it's not like you moving over to EXP is a perfect scenario or perfect transition. Anytime you make a move or a shift or a change, there's discomfort. And it's the same with EXP. If you've built up a successful office, whether it be 20 agents, 30 agents, 100 agents, 600 agents, 2,000 agents, whatever it is, one, when you make the move to EXP, nobody expects to have 100% retention in a move, right? Because realtors it's like herding cats. We're all independent contractors. We all have minds of our own, and different goals, and got in for the business for different reasons and so on. So, and humans in general don't like change. They get uncomfortable. So you ruffle their feathers a bit and they're kind of like, well, I don't know. So, first thing would be you're going to have some attrition when you're making the move. The other thing is the first year, at least, is typically pretty rough financially, in all honesty, because you go from being a broker owner where you're overriding all of your agents, and maybe you got them on a 70/30, 80/20, 90/10, or some other flat fee arrangement or what have you. But really, you're the man or the woman that's overriding, and it's all coming up to you. Now you're moving your brokerage over to EXP, and they're the ones that are getting the 80/20, and then you're getting reimbursed as a reward for helping to grow the company, a much smaller percentage, level 1 3.5%, level 2, level 3, level 4, all the way down. And so that can be pretty tough for a broker owner who's put their life into, and their blood, sweat, and tears into building up this company, to kind of take a step back actually in their earnings for year one. But if you can get them to look beyond just the first year or year and a half, and have a bigger vision of 3, 4, 5 years, and also understand the power of a reoccurring residual income that is scalable, and all 50 states are now opened up to you, and the aspect that their current, we can arguably say that they already have a residual or reoccurring income as a broker owner, but it's only usually one level deep, maybe two, if you have a team leader who's going and recruiting and building their own team and you're overriding that as well. But in a traditional brokerage, you are not, you're not overriding 3, 4, 5 levels deep. It's just, that just doesn't happen. It's not part of the model. But with EXP, it is. And our biggest payout actually is level 7. So there's real incentive to help people in your organization attract and recruit agents, and help those attract and recruit agents, and help those attract and recruit agents. I do want to bring up a point though, that we do talk a lot about attraction and recruiting and things of that nature. And one of the objections out there is that, oh, EXP, that's all you guys do is recruit. And it's actually not true. And I can tell you just facts. We came back from EXPCon and we found out that about 12% of the total agent populace within EXP have received or are receiving a revenue share check, right? So let's be conservative and say 2 out of 10 EXP agents are recruiting or recruiting successfully, right? There may be more that are trying, but they're not, that good at it or skilled or what have you. But what's interesting, in that same amount of time, EXP has risen to become the number one independent brokerage in the entire United States, maybe even the world. I don't know that for certain, but definitely the United States. You can look at the stats and we are the number one brokerage in regards to volume, transactions, so on. So obviously, we're not just out recruiting. We are a real estate company. Our agents are out selling homes. That's what we do primarily. And then as an additional opportunity or bonus, you get rewarded for attracting or recruiting agents. So
Fantastic. Yeah. And I also want to mean to the commercial level as well, because commercial, for those who don't know, just
yeah,
opened up about a year and a half ago. Right. And 5 years ago, my story was I got approached by the EXP residential, not by Matt. If it was Matt, it would have been different. Right. Matt was still at KW at that point or something else. Right. He wasn't
yeah,
quite over either. But I dismissed it because I thought, it's residential. I'm selling deferred sales trust. I'm selling multifamily properties. And I didn't even look at the model. I wasn't open minded. Fast forward about a year and a half ago, I got a call from Matt, and Matt's like, "Hey, I'm with EXP." I'm like, "What?" I mean, went way back.
yeah,
Playing basketball, good friends, church, everything from over like 10 years ago. I'm like, "Well, Matt, if you sold 500 homes at KW," and he goes, "Yeah," and then Don Yoakum and Tom Daves, 7,000 transactions by Tom Daves, and I'm like, "Wait, well, maybe I'm missing something. Let me take my hat off and my pride hat off, and let me go look at this thing." And he's like, "Yeah, commercial is coming." I'm like, "Wow, if that's really the case, then I'm willing to join." And I jumped in,
yeah,
knowing that commercial was on the horizon, and now commercial has come out. But I say all of that because part of the goal for most of the commercial real estate brokers that I worked with over the years was to own real estate. And part of how we did that was we would roll commissions into deals. And I
oh, I
can't help
love it.
but connect the dots here where you said if they leave initially, yeah, they're going to take a hit in that year, maybe year one, year two, because in the short term, maybe they're not getting as much cash flow because they might be on a 90-10 or 70-30 versus 80-20. But what they're trading in short-term commissions or cash flow, they're giving up an equity, right? And the ability to be a multiplier with that equity. And so I think of it with what I've done in the past with certain deals where I roll my commission into the property. I forego the short-term, quick
Hmm.
gratification of cash, and I roll it into an equity long-term position, and I let that start working for me, that property working for me, the tax
Yeah,
benefit, the depreciation. And that's the difference here, right? And that actually kind of I think it's a good thing because if you think about it, if there wasn't something there, right, there probably wouldn't be a sustainable business model on that side. In other words, if you could just flip the switch and everything is better, then perhaps you don't have to really build that business, right? And there's probably not a healthy amount of rev share and a healthy amount of going back into the business, right? There's some natural business fundamentals that we have to follow, and EXP has, I believe, figured out the way to maximize the upside for the agent as well as keeping the fundamentals of a business. And that's proof and point, like you said, they are top in volume, they're top in closings, right? And top in all those numbers, right? So I think it actually makes sense, man. Any other thoughts on that point?
yeah. I think you were talking more about the agent mindset or the agent aspect, and I was talking about the broker owner that they take a real hit. I mean, it's they lose money typically the first year. Now, there's some things creatively that we can help them with. We can put an on-site lender in their, brick and mortar space if they keep it. Rent out some of the other offices to maybe an insurance and home inspectors or something along these lines that helps bring in some additional income to offset what they're no longer getting from overriding their agents, right? When they're the broker owner, they're on top and they're getting a piece of every closing of the agent. Well, now they give that away, that opportunity away to EXP for the opportunity to be able to scale and go 7 layers deep in all 50 states, and now we're in 19 countries. So if they can see the bigger picture of scalability and longevity and being able to create something that they can will and pass on to their kids, which quite frankly, when you have a brokerage, a traditional brick and mortar brokerage, it's pretty tough to pass that on to the kids unless they're in real estate and jazzed about real estate. And a lot of the kids that grew up in real estate, like myself, I swore I'd never get in real estate because my mom was so busy and it just was crazy. So a lot of the kids don't want to go take over, a traditional real estate, but they'll gladly take over a residual reoccurring income of EXP where they're not a broker owner or liability or anything of that. So it's pretty neat.
We're going to move to the lightning round right now. We're just going to go
it.
EXP residential versus EXP commercial. And
Oh,
we're
I
going to
love
start
it.
with the caps, right? And some of the
Okay.
hard facts. Like they're probably wondering, well, first of all, they're both 80-20, right? So if you make, let's say you close $100,000 in gross commission, you're going to get, it's going to be 80-20. So 20% of whatever that is going to go to EXP. However, up into the cap, and with EXP residential, it's a little more favorable. It's $16,000 cap. Commercial, it's $20,000 cap. But then after that, Matt, what happens?
100%.
Which is
minus the transaction fee. Minus the transaction fee.
Yeah, transaction fees. Yeah, so this is miscellaneous transaction fees for sure.
What is it in commercial though? What's the transaction fee for commercial?
So I think it's $250 per transaction fee, right?
Oh, that's cheap. Okay, that's the same as residential.
Yeah, and there might be one other like $80 or $70 E&O, but I mean, there was years where I was paying Marcus and Millichap, and the other brokerages that I was with 80-20 with. There was never a cap A, right? Let alone rev share or stock opportunities to purchase back, which we're going to go into the next point. So it's just not even close. Like you could do an ROI on your past 5 deals or past 3 years in brokerage, and just go side by side comparison and see where you're at. Which leads into the second point, which is the kind of the ongoing monthly cost for just tools. So Matt, talk about what you get.
Residential, $85. That's the only monthly fee we have is $85. Included with that is KV Core, which is arguably the number one CRM lead generation website tool in all of real estate. If you were to get it on your own as an individual agent, it'd be $600 a month, 1-year commitment. You also get SkySlope, which is a transaction management software. On your own, it'd be about $110 a month, 1-year commitment. It's included in our 85. So we got SkySlope, we got KV Core, we got Breakthrough Broker membership, not the free one, but the membership, which is even more tools. You got membership with Regus and Spaces because they purchased their competitor Spaces. So now you have thousands and thousands of professional office suites worldwide that you can pop in and use their Wi-Fi and their common areas and even conference rooms and so on. Let's see what, and then you get 50 plus hours of live training with eXp World. And this is not recorded training, but this is 50 hours of live training every week after week. So those are some of the highlights. Tell me about commercial.
Yeah. So commercial, very similar, but some few nuances. First of all, it's $250 a month is the ongoing fee. So it is higher. But it's really, you're getting some amazing tools for that, such as a thing called Agent Hub, which is like the KV Core commercial version.
Okay.
With the text automation, the email automation, the CRM, the deal pipeline, all of that, the active campaigns, the MailChimps, or whatever you have there for the automation, they have it there. And it's fantastic. Second, you have the ability to tap into a thing called Reonomy, as well as I'm going to share my screen here as well.
Is there something build or something?
Yeah. So you've got Reonomy and you've got Build Out, and Build Out is where you're going to build all of your current. Let me just focus here. Your current marketing packages, right? So you're underwriting, and it's going to syndicate to all of the Crexy loop nets. It's going to syndicate to different sites automatically as you load it into one, and your listing goes live. It can go live across, I think, like 20 different sites, right? That people are searching for commercial real estate. So that is Build Out, and that's also the elite version. You have a thing called Enriched Data, which is on the process of trying to take over CoStar eventually. And so
that's big.
Yeah, they're building out that as well. You have a live training, 50 hours of live training. You have the ability to, and it's $100 risk management fee, by the way, and $250 broker review fee, and then $250 a month. You also get access to a SkySlope as well, which is the transaction coordination. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's really pretty phenomenal. Those things separate. If you were to just do this yourself, right, and try to buy
Yeah.
it, I mean, it could be easily $2,000, $2,500 collectively. They got it down to $250, right? So realize that you say, well, my brokerage is paying for my CoStar. CoStar now has a national CoStar like $455 a month, right? Which has never been lower. Part of it because there's some competitors coming in,
Yeah.
right? So that's lower now. And so all in, you could probably be at 455 for CoStar if CoStar, which CoStar is amazing. It's great. And plus 250, right?
What,
So let's call it
$700?
750 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're capped at $20,000 and you have all these tools. And then the next thing becomes the referral sources. Like there's literally 75,000 agents worldwide now, approximately with eXp, commercial and residential.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
Yeah.
residential agents that are all boots on the ground that need to give referrals to agents,
That's
right?
very
And
true.
so we
Such
get
a
that
good point.
as well. Plus M&A advisors. I just signed up the number 10 M&A advisor in the nation. She's amazing. She's
Michelle,
$55
right?
million Florida, Michelle.
Yeah.
Business brokerage, right? So when you're already working and networking with these people, they can become a part of your organization as well. And you're probably already passing referrals back to one another, a business broker or M&A advisor, and they're passing commercial real estate deals to you too. You guys can now, and luxury agents as well, all of it can help to build this organization out. And so you take back the power or the commissions by building out your own dream along with the eXp as they power it. And so it's an amazing model. And we encourage you guys, if you want to learn more, you can go to expertcresecrets.com. That's expertcresecrets.com. You can also connect with Matt Stewart by going to matthewstewart.exprealty.com, matthewstewart.exprealty.com. So Matt, anything else to add to that?
Well, hey, you're more versed in commercial, but I think it's what I've heard, and I'd love to get your take on it is commercial for the longest time never had a cap. That was kind of a newer thing that I think maybe KW kind of started. Obviously, XP's and embraced it and so on. And then also pretty rare that everybody would be on an 80-20 split, if I understand correctly. Usually it was like 70-30, 65-35. Is that true? Speak to that a bit because I'd love to learn.
All I can speak about Marcus Millichap 2006 into 2011, the 5 run. Typically, everyone started over the new year, right? January 1st. And for the first $100,000 is 50-50. So
Wow.
you
Okay.
gross 100, 50,000 is gone. Then the next up to 250 was 60-40. So now
Wow.
you get a little bit more, get above 250, 70-30, and so on. So these little tiers. Yeah, never ever a cap. You know, you close, you pay. You close, you pay. You become like an ultra icon. Eventually, you can get to that 80, 20, 90, 10. But that takes a lot of years and a lot of
A lot of
performance.
deals.
In the meantime, a lot of cash flow. The biggest thing though is the amount of people that we would bring in and train and coach up, and either they become our competitors in the cubicle next to us after a couple deals, or they go off to CB Richard Ellis or jail or Cornerstone Carey or whatever, and you're like,
Yeah.
wait, what? I just spent a year and a half, 2 years with you, training you, coaching you. I got a little bit of commission, and now you're taking that somewhere else. You're not even staying with Marcus and Millichap, right? Or if you are, now you may be a competitor of mine. And so it's always a weird thing that the house always wanted Marcus and Millichap, but us as the agents, the boots on the ground, once we're trained and coached up, right? And I totally respect everything they did. And I give 5
Yeah.
years, blood, sweat, and tears to Marcus Millichap, but they never offered me stock. They never offered me rev share, right? And that's the part where you get to say, do you want to be an owner of your brokerage and get stock and along with others an owner of a brokerage? Do you want to be on your own and go solo, which you have maybe no support and you have all that liability, or do you want to keep working for someone else and helping them build their dream, right? And that's the part where EXP hands down is a no-brainer, but it's up to you, the listener, to decide and underwrite the model, look at it, keep an open mind, and see if it's something you want to take advantage of. Any other last thoughts, Matt, before we let everybody
Well,
go?
I'm just curious. I mean, as I'm learning more and more about commercial and what you've just said there, why would someone not join EXP?
I
Who's a
think
commercial person, right? I
yeah,
just don't get it. You get a cap and
I think
80-20
for
and
commercial, they
stock
don't even
and
know about it, right? Most people don't even know that EXP has a commercial division, right? It's completely separate leadership, and it's amazing leader who used to run Sperry Global, used to be from Marcus Millichap. He had over 150 commercial agents, did billions in sales
Yeah.
every year. Like, I mean, he's amazing. People,
James,
I
right?
think it's just awareness. A lot of people don't even know about it. The next thing becomes, okay, now I'm aware of it. I don't understand the details and the
Mm,
nuances, and I haven't watched the video. By the way, we have an amazing video you can watch called "The Model Explained," which breaks down the residential version, and then we have EXP Explained every Thursday that you can also attend. So it's just education, Matt, and awareness. Whereas EXP Residential, it's like the awareness is there, but
hmm
and some people are open to it, right? And I think it's still massively growing. So not at all, anything against EXP. I think commercial, it's still just the awareness factor.
I think I look at EXP commercial as being, like residential was 5, 6 years ago. Just this amazing opportunity that people are just now starting to hear about it within the commercial, space. And if you can sit them down, like you said, put your ego aside and put your business hat on, because there's a lot of ego in commercial, more so than residential, I think. Wouldn't you agree?
Probably, yeah. Except for maybe for
Yeah.
some of the luxury agents
I
in the
mean,
Bay
some of
Area.
the ones I've talked to are pretty heavy ego. Maybe it's because of residential, resi guys calling them. I don't know, but they're pretty hefty ego. But if you can get them to where they'll actually, look at it and study it with their
Yep.
business hat on, gosh, it's pretty hard to say no. I mean, they look at what they're in and they're going, well, geez, I'm getting a 70/30, and that's pretty good in my office. And there's no cap over here. And I don't have any ownership. And I've been over here at Colliers for 15 years. And, to me, I'm like, gosh, I think there's maybe even a better opportunity in commercial than in resi
Yeah, because we
right
cap really
now.
quick. We cap really quick, and we larger larger commission deals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they will. I think underwrite it and look at it. They will, right? And it's just you maybe give them a little more time, but no, more are coming. I mean, they're growing. It's not that they're not, right? We have NAI folks, people from Cornish and Carey come over, people from Marcus and Millichap, people that are coming from the major broker houses, JLL, that are joining, right, and looking at this. So yeah, we're out of time now. We'll be back probably next week.
Okay.
Actually, we're off
It
next
goes
week.
so fast. It goes so fast, Brett.
Isn't it wild? 32
It's
minutes
fun.
already. So you can
I
connect with
know.
Matthew at matthewstewart.exprealty.com. It's matthewstewart@exprealty.com. If you want to connect to me, go to expertcrec.com. You can also check us out at capitalgainstaxsolutions.com as well. We're streaming that as well on our YouTube channel, where we talk about eliminating the need for the 1031 exchange, adding value to your clients beyond just the traditional Blockbuster 1031, and doing something that's outside the box to give them more freedom. So we appreciate everyone out there. We wish you a wonderful January 14th, 2022, and a good new year. Thanks, Matt, for being
Absolutely. All right.
here.
Take care, guys.
Bye now.